Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Jorge Rivera to defeat Rich Franklin. And I was at that fight. That's right. This was all just a way for me to brag about having been to UFC 50. And I'm here to talk about Alexander Rakic versus Jiri Prochazka. My pick for this fight is Alexander Rakic, but I don't have a lot of confidence in him at all. Just a lot of shitty circumstances, and he happens to be fighting the most dangerous and aggressive fighter in the history of human beings, in Jiri Prochazka. So I couldn't really relax, but the basis of the pick is that Rakic is the more polished striker and overall more polished fighter, even though he's given up a lot of experience. He's just much cleaner. And I also think he's the healthier fighter, and I'm aware he just ripped his leg apart and has been out for 2 years. But as far as his chin goes, I think he's the healthier fighter. And I think Jiri Prochazka in particular is knockoutable. Jiri, as good as he is offensively, he's vulnerable. He's just vulnerable to getting hit, and people that are vulnerable to getting hit are vulnerable to getting finished. He was knocked out by Alex Pereira, which you can say what you will about the stoppage. I thought it was fair, and I think it would have met anybody's standards with another second or two. He would have been put away. But he was caught coming in, again, recklessly against a guy that is that dangerous in Alex Pereira. And Jiri Prochazka, I thought, all right, he's going to be minding his P's and Q's every second in this fight, and he just wasn't. And it wasn't as bad as his previous knockout loss, which came 8 years earlier or whatever, to King Mo Lawal, who's an excellent fighter, was an excellent fighter, beast of a wrestler, and one hell of a right hand. And he cracked him with an overhand wrestler right hand punch, and Jiri walked into it with his hands completely down. I think they were like behind his back, adjusting his waistline or whatever. But he just has always been kind of sloppy. But those are the only two knockout losses that he has. The other TKO is this guy, Bohan Velikovic, former UFC fighter, and the guy's a fucking beast. And Bohan got him out of there on the ground, got him down and really mauled him. And Jiri was trying to get up and just got pinned and pounded. But still, that was a very early loss, 2012 or whatever, so that's extra forgivable. But despite those losses being spaced out, he's still a guy that I think his next, if he lost three more fights, I'd predict at least two of them are knockouts. I just think it's how he's destined to lose. And even though Rakic is more of a neutralizing light heavyweight, or he can be anyway, a guy that's looking to win the leg kicking battle and pin you against the cage, I still think he's a very dangerous guy, and he's got the danger to knock out Jiri Prochazka. So that is my official pick, but I'm not betting on it because, again, Jiri is the most dangerous guy. We've seen it in the UFC. He went through Volkan Oezdemir like no one else did and knocked him dead. He knocked Dominic Reyes dead with one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen. That spinning back elbow, two of them. And even before coming to the UFC, he got revenge over King Mo Lawal, knocked him out in round 3. And he's got just plenty of flying knees, multiple flying knees, and deadly knockouts. He's only got one decision in his entire winning record there. Every fight has been a finish. Few submissions, and I have to mention the greatest victory of his, the 5th round submission over Glover Teixeira. That was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen, probably the greatest, certainly a fucking contender. And Jiri won in the last possible imaginable way. Of all the outcomes in that fight, the last thing I expected was round 5 submission for Jiri Prochazka with no hooks and just a tight choke. But still, he's the guy that tapped Glover and won the strap. So his, he's just that dangerous where, even that fight seemed like it was destined to be finished, Oh, he's finally going to go the distance. And no, he got it done. He's just danger personified. And I wouldn't be able to relax betting on Alexander Rakic. Rakic has never been knocked out. His health has looked pretty damn strong. He was knocked down by Devin Clark with a big Devin Clark gigantic leg punch, but he finished him not long at all after that, and he wasn't really too badly hurt, just knocked by a big punch. But If there's one guy that could finally crack his chin, I'd say it's Jiri, but I'm still not picking that to happen. I'm just letting that stop me from betting on Alexander Rakic. That and the knee injury. 2-year layoff, fucked his leg up in the Jan Blachowicz fight. And he's still young enough and healthy enough and doesn't have a lot of mileage. Again, never been knocked out. He seems pretty healthy other than that. But it's enough to give me pause as well. So Rakic is the pick, and the bet does not exist. This is one fight where I'm just going to hope for a violent fucking finish. And I guess that means let's go Yuri. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.